David Bowie's 5 favorite singers. Nina Simone, the soulful muse. Nina Simone's voice was a river of emotions, flowing through sorrow, defiance, and hope. For Bowie, Simone was more than an artist. She was a force of nature.
A leaf clings to a tree.
Her blend of classical, jazz, and gospel music created an intensity that resonated deeply with him. In 1975, Bowie sought Simone's permission to cover her rendition of Wild is the Wind, a testament to his reverence for her artistry.
Wild is the wind.
His cover became an emotional, romantic tribute, immortalizing her influence in his work. Simone's ability to channel raw emotion into elegance gave Bowie a blueprint for weaving vulnerability into his music. Scott Walker, the Dream Weaver. Bowie's love for Walker was well documented. He once said he'd listen to Walker before going into the studio.
I'm quite happy to take the songs that he sings and make something of them myself, and I read my own reasoning into the images.
Known for his dramatic baritone and surreal lyricism, Walker's haunting works in the 60s blended orchestral beauty with existential dread. It was as if every note he sang belonged to a dream or a nightmare.
And now she's always just a tear.
Bowie connected deeply to Walker's avant-garde ethos, finding parallels with his own tendency to drift into the shadows of the strange. Tracks like The Seventh Seal resonated in Bowie's fabric, urging him to push sonic and emotional boundaries. Little Richard, the wild pioneer. Little Richard was the firecracker who lit Bowie's musical fuse. With his flamboyant style, electrifying stage presence, and unbridled energy, Richard shattered conventions and built the foundation for rock and roll. For Bowie, discovering Little Richard was a transformative moment. He often recalled buying his first Richard record as a life-altering experience.
Little Richard was my patron saint, when I was a kid. I heard his record.
Richard's primal wails and audacious personality taught Bowie the power of unapologetic self-expression. Tracks like Tutti Frutti and Lucille weren't just songs, they were revolutions. Through Richard, Bowie learned to channel his eccentricity and become a trailblazer in his own right. John Lennon, the honest rebel. In Bowie's galaxy, John Lennon wasn't a distant star. He was a neighboring sun, casting a golden glow of wit, rebellion, and raw humanity.
He was one of the major influences on my musical life. I mean, I just thought he was the very best.
The Beatles' unmistakable voice, blending snarls with tenderness, was revolutionary.
You may say I'm a dreamer.
Bowie and Lennon's collaboration on Fame was more than an iconic hit. It was a melding of minds from two different orbits.
Hey, what you need, you have to borrow.
For Bowie, Lennon's greatest gift was his honesty, even in moments of imperfection. It was an invitation to remain real amid the theatrics, a lesson Bowie carried as he walked his many chameleonic paths. Elvis Presley, the guiding star. When Bowie heard Elvis Presley's voice, it was as if the Earth's axis tilted slightly in its orbit.
It's always crowded. You still can find some room for broken-hearted love.
The King's ability to blend raw Southern blues with the explosive energy of rock and roll carved paths where none existed. Bowie admired the unapologetic theatricality of Elvis's performances and the undeniable magic of his vocal presence. Born on the same day, Bowie often described Elvis as a guiding star, even imagining what it would have been like to write a song for him. Through every swagger-filled track, Bowie found a lesson in daring to burn brightly. For Bowie, music wasn't just a soundtrack. It was a lineage, a family tree whose roots stretched deep into history's most captivating voices. And for us, his audience, Bowie's eclectic favorites remind us that the greatest artistry is always built on the foundations laid by giants.